Hey guys, my name is Beverly, and this is.
I'm Ray.
We are the Prices.
Yeah, we are.
Welcome to our podcast with love y sabor, because we all need some loving, and especially from Jesus,
And we all need a little bit of sabor in our life.
as you get the 411 from our life so that you don't have to go through it too.
Yep.
So, Raimundo, what are we doing?
So we just decided to start a podcast. At least I felt the Lord tell me that we needed to do something to share our story. Which I mean, we all have a story.
Great.
But ours was just different in a lot of ways, to be honest.
Yeah, which mostly it's because we're first generation. We have immigrant parents, so we're first generation.
Yep.
That really sums it up, honestly.
Yeah, and we're actually like one of the only ones in our family, at least, that have done it the right way. So we went to college. We'll tell you all about that. We also we started dating. Then we got married, and now we have a kid.
Right.
Which in the Hispanic culture, you don't see a lot of it anymore, where it's like, oh, let's get married, then have kids. It's like, no, let's have a kid, maybe get married, maybe have a career. Who knows? Who cares? So it's just like,
Which is the norm, which is nothing wrong with it. I feel like people still have success and have a happy life. It's just something that we personally didn't see for our lives. And which is
Yep.
crazy because honestly, our whole life has constantly been odd. We always
Yeah.
feel like we're the ones to learn and to be able to teach the future generation of our family.
Yeah, we always feel like we're the pioneers. Like we have to go first and go through the bad stuff and the ugly stuff and the good stuff, but mostly a lot of bad stuff. And that's honestly why we want to do this podcast. It's because we feel like there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of bad in the world, and we don't want you to go through the things that we went through.
Or at least as bad as we've gone through.
Yeah, so
'Cause
we
we
want
all-
you to figure it out
Right.
and maybe be a little bit ahead in life. But yeah, like if you guys know our story or don't know our story, we started dating, and then a year into dating, we were like, well,
Let's start a YouTube channel.
yeah, let's do it. Why not? And honestly, I think the reason why we did it was because I was really thinking about it, and I was like, well, the reason we did it was because we both wanted to just share our lives together. Like I was commuting from Omaha or Lincoln. No, I wasn't commuting. She was commuting.
I was commuting from Omaha to Lincoln
Yep.
to see
It's
Ray.
only an hour drive, basically.
Yeah. But sorry, Dad. I definitely put a lot of miles on my car, and we had to get new tires pretty soon.
And
but-
then now we have that car only.
Yeah, one car only family here. But yeah, we wanted to just document it. I think we both had dreams of starting a YouTube channel, but we never did start it like on our own.
Yeah.
We are big YouTube people, like super big YouTube people.
Yeah, we don't watch a lot of like Netflix or TV or anything like that. Like YouTube is my sanctuary for everything and anything.
Yeah, seriously. I've watched a lot of YouTube, and I grew up with YouTube. I mean, I started watching YouTube from the beauty era, and I learned how to do my makeup and people's makeup because of YouTube.
Yep.
So it's just, honestly, YouTube has brought a lot of like blessings to me because I've been able to make money from just doing makeup
Yeah, same.
occasionally.
Same.
So
Honestly, that's why I fell in love with doing video and photos and with just watching like the Peter McKinnons of the world and the Casey Neistat of the world, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. But yeah, anyway, like getting back into like why we were doing this is honestly, I just felt the Lord tell us that we needed to start a podcast to show people our life and what God done in our life. Honestly, that's kind of where YouTube was at too. Like my family lived 2 hours away when I was in Lincoln, and her family lived an hour away. But honestly, like a lot of the time, we felt alone within ourselves.
yeah, we're honestly alone here in Omaha. I mean, my dad tries to come as much as possible, but honestly, we're doing life here by ourselves. Like our friends are left or are leaving, and
Yep.
now it's kind of we're back to square one where we're rebuilding.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out life.
And it's just
We
been...
just had a kid too, so that's a huge step.
It's a season, and I think that something I've noticed and realized through this whole process of being over here and out here is, of course, I miss family, but I think that we're the first ones to show that you can do it and you can leave town, especially a small town. We both come from small towns, and everyone usually stays, and we did not want to.
And they work like the same jobs that their parents worked through, or vice versa, similar jobs, which isn't a bad thing in most cases. But honestly, that's not what God has called us for our life, which has been like such a journey. And that's why we're starting this podcast, is we just want people to know and feel the love of Jesus, and also have a little bit of flavor in there, some sabor. Try to figure out what it is as a no sabo kid, basically.
Yeah, seriously, we are no sabo kids, unfortunately. We try our best, but honestly, it's so hard to keep it, especially since we are far away from family.
Yep.
I feel like my siblings can keep it because they're close to family who only speak Spanish.
Right.
So for us, we're here by ourselves, so we constantly just speak in English.
Yeah.
But yeah, with love and sabor.
That's our podcast name. But also, we contemplated a lot if this was supposed to be our thing, or we were supposed to start something like this. And I think it was like a couple months ago. No, probably like 4, 5, 6 months ago. Yeah. We just felt, I was like telling Beverly, I was like, I don't know if we should do this. Like, this podcast equipment costs a lot of money. Like,
yeah, it really does. And honestly, I think it's been a year since we've honestly felt that we needed to start this. Yeah. And we needed to start social media up again. We stopped YouTube a while back, and we tried to get back on, but something about YouTube has been really hard to just keep going. But this podcast has been in our heart, and like God just kept saying, like, you have to do it and you have to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it never really felt the right time to do it.
Yeah.
We kept contemplating, but at the same time, it felt like we kept moving forward, which was nice, because it was like God was like, you're moving forward. And even though sometimes I felt we were moving backwards, it's been nice to finally get to this point, honestly.
Yep. And we honestly, like it's funny as it is, we kind of prayed on it, and we were like, God, if this is really you, show us in different ways. And he just kept putting this podcast on our heart. And then during like last year, like we'll get more into it on another episode, but basically we were in like a tough place, and we were like, well, I don't really know if this is for us. Like, financially, it doesn't make sense. Like, you don't need all this nice equipment and stuff, but we just felt like if we're gonna do it the right way, we might as well just go big. Or
semi-big.
Yeah, semi-big.
As big as we could possibly go financially. And he surprised us, and he still does. And he continues to surprise us as we continue with life, which is crazy, because a walk with Jesus is never easy.
Nope.
And if it was, we would all do it.
Yep.
But I'm so thankful that we get to struggle and have Jesus. But yeah, do you want to tell him how it officially became like, okay, we really got to do this? Yeah,
so like, I want to say like about, I don't know, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, we were having a kid on the way, and we were just like struggling financially. Like, Beverly had just gotten like over a job, and honestly, like, we were looking at things around us, and we were like, okay, God, if you're out there, we really need your help right now. Like, I was trying to do DoorDash every single night, basically, or every single day, just to try to keep us afloat for a while. And then all of a sudden, like, I think it happened like 3 different ways, but this couple at church, the church that we used to go to, they pulled us aside one day, and they were like, hey, we just felt the Lord tell us that we need to give you $1,000. And I looked at Beverly, and I was like, what the heck?
I know. We looked at each other, and we're just like, wow, like, you hear about these things, but we've never experienced it. Other than like our family, like our parents will help us and give us money. Our siblings have helped us, and that's a blessing in itself. But we've asked them for it.
Yep.
And so this was different. This was literally being gifted to us.
Yeah, it was like the first time this has honestly happened to me or you. Like, somebody doesn't just randomly give you $1,000, you know? Like, even in my head, what popped through my head was like, okay, when do I have to pay you back? Like, is there interest rates? Like, how do we do this? You know, like, it was just a lot to, like, comprehend at the time. And honestly, we took that money and we were like, well, let's wait. Let's wait on it. Let's not do anything. And even though God had told us to start this podcast, we were like, we're still in a pickle. Let's save this money. And then, like, the next week, like, I forgot who came, but they came and they blessed us with food and, like, they helped us out. They took us out to dinner, and it was great. And it was, like, back-to-back days. It was, like, 3 days in a row where somebody came up and they just took us out to dinner. Each day they took us out to dinner, and I was like,
yeah, we were really low on money. So going out to eat was not a thing for us in the time. Like, we were really having to cook at home and be home. And so that week we got free meals. Yep. Every time we went out, we were expecting to spend money, and they would pay for us.
Right.
And it was just like, okay, God, we see you.
Yep. And then we just put it on the back burner and just let it happen for a while. And then, like, not even like a month, not even like 2 weeks later, it was just a regular Sunday after church. And one of my friends came up to me and he was like,
no, it was definitely months later.
Or a month later.
It was after, I'm pretty sure after my appendix surgery.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be like 3 months after I was 3 months postpartum.
That's a whole other story in itself, and we'll talk about it in another episode. But basically, we had a lot of stuff go on after Beverly giving birth, and we were like kind of finally starting to get back on our feet. Like, I finally had gotten a new job. It was paying me a lot more. And then we just were doing the same old, trying to raise a little baby.
And literally a newborn.
Yeah, a human being. We were like, what do we do? How do we do this? And he just came up to me after church and was like, hey, man. Like, I looked at his face, and he looked like worried, but also like he was nervous, and it was like something that he wanted to do for us, but I didn't know what it was. Didn't expect anything. And he was like, hey, man, I've been meaning to do this for a while, and
here's this envelope. And
here's this card. I want to give you this card. I was like, oh, okay, cool, man. Thank you. Like, because he knew about our story. He knew what happened. He knew Beverly had her appendix taken out. He knew it was rough for us for a while. And then he just, like, gave us the card. And we were like, all right, cool.
And he literally was like, don't open it now. And we're like, okay, we're going to open it later then. Because we were at church and we were going in or out. I can't remember.
We were going in. We were going into church. And then we were like, all right, cool. We won't open it. So we had church service. We took Noah home. We got in the car. We started driving. And then
Ray goes, you should open the card. And I had totally forgot about it. So then I finally opened it. And I was shook because there was a check. And I was like, I cannot believe I see these numbers.
Yeah.
Especially from him. Not in a bad way, because I'm not saying that he's a bad person or he's bad with his finances. I don't even know anything about his finances in that way, but it was just like shocking because, again, God was blessing us with a significant amount of money and for this podcast.
Yep. I mean, in that moment, like, Beverly told me the number and I was like, you sure he didn't, like, accidentally put a dot in the wrong place? Like, you sure there's not an extra zero in there? Like, what's going on? And then so we were driving home, and I was like, well, I guess this is definitely a reminder to start this podcast.
Right. So then we did have to put in a little bit of extra money because podcast equipment is expensive. But we waited off to Black Friday. And honestly, waiting till then was a blessing because we were able to literally afford everything that we needed.
Yep.
And that was just crazy that we were even able to, like, put in our card information and it go through because during
Right.
that time we still are like pretty tight with money. We're
Yeah.
literally trying to get back on our feet in a way, and to see us be able to pay that was emotional, and in a good way, because we know that this is going to bless people, but in a way it's also going to bless our family so much. And I feel that so wholeheartedly, and that's why it makes it so emotional that we were able to finally buy this equipment.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I don't know about you guys, but every time somebody says, "Oh, like you want something," just ask God for it. He'll give it to you. I used to be the person that was like, "No, he won't." Like, what are you talking about? Like, God's not gonna give it to you just like that. Like, He's gonna make you work for it all the time.
Right. I have always said that. I was like, you have to put in your work for God to give it to you. Like, you can't just sit around and constantly wait, and just twirl your fingers and expect Him to give it to you. I think there's times that you should.
Yeah.
He does make you work, and you will feel that conviction in your heart, and you will feel it, that you need to do that. So, but with this, it was different. We were working hard, and
Yep.
it wasn't like we weren't just being lazy and not managing our finances. It was just the way that life was.
Yep. I mean, even to that extent, like, God wants to give you things. Like, I don't know who's listening to this, but God wants to give you the desires of your heart. Like, everything that you wish for and want for, He wants that for you as well. Like, He puts it in your heart to be able to want that. Like, even in the Bible, like, if we look at Abraham's life, right, like, God told him, "Hey, I'm going to make you a father of many nations." Like, God didn't just make him a father right away, right? He wanted to test his patience. He wanted to test his faithfulness. And honestly, I think that's what God did with us in our journey. And that's honestly why we started this podcast and why we're wanting to do this, is because we want people to see somebody's faithfulness to be tested over and over again, and God come through.
Right. I think just even this past week, I went to a women's, like, what would you call it?
Women's night.
Oh, yes, a women's night at our church. And I thought it was just beautiful. Something she said, that our pastor said, was basically like, when you ask God for something, even if it doesn't come out the way that you think it will, whether it's good or bad, God is still good. God will make you feel like He is good. And honestly, all of the glory will go to Him no matter what. So this popping off or not is honestly glory to God. So that's honestly all we want to basically say this in this podcast.
Yep. We just wanted to give an intro of who we are. Oh, also, we've been married for 3.5 years. Almost 4.
2020. We got married in COVID. We'll tell that story too.
Yeah, we've been together for almost 7 years. And we have a
almost 7-month old.
And his first word for
Dada.
Dada.
Which is so sad in a way, but also fine. I did see on TikTok, I don't know if it's real, but they say that...
Yeah, he doesn't actually say a word. He just...
He's babbling da 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 da.
Yeah, which I can see it, but also it's a win in my book.
Right. What they also say, that kids will say dada first because they spend the most time with mom, and they still feel united as one with mom until they're one. Yep. So
he's definitely a boy, mom.
He's a mama's boy for sure.
Yep, he's definitely a mama's boy.
And I love it so much. He is literally the apple of my eye, and my heart literally outside of me. But anyways, anything else? Anything you want to say?
Nope, you just got to tune in the next episode.
All right. Well, make sure to subscribe.
Yeah. Oh, tell your friends about us.
Yeah.
With love y sabor. You know,
and
you need some
share
love.
this. Share it with someone. Share the next few episodes with people who are going to need this in their life.
Honestly, share it with somebody who you honestly, truly believe needs something positive in their life, but they don't know how to get it.
Yeah, that's good. All right. we'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, peace
Peace
out.
out.